Wow, that was so cool. Good morning.
In 1997, our company was burning $1 million of cash every single day. When we fast forward to 2026, the same company is making $1 million in each and every passing 97 seconds. The company I'm speaking is the biggest tech giant the world has ever seen, Apple Incorporation.
The company is hurting, laying off workers.
One of Silicon Valley's brightest stars may soon be history.
Executives are leaving, the product line is bloated, and the leadership vacuum is widening.
I am Macintosh.
People love him, hate him, often at the same time. For 10 years, by sheer force of will, he made the personal computer industry follow his direction.
This was the biggest business comeback that the world has ever seen. And there are a lot of business strategies implemented by Apple to become from the cusp of bankruptcy to a $1 trillion company.
In the late 90s, Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy. We're introducing the iMac. Then came the iPhone, revolutionizing the world. By 2018, Apple was worth $1 trillion.
The question is, how did Apple from the cusp of bankruptcy become a trillionaire company? And what are the lessons that we need to learn from this Apple's case study? Apple was founded in 1976 by two founders named Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Their first product was Apple Macintosh, iMac. They introduced the iMac in 1984. That was an iconic product of Apple. In 1985, Steve Jobs, the own co-founder of Apple, was fired from Apple. And what happened? The 12 following long years were a complete disaster for Apple. There were more than 350 plus products made by Apple and not even one succeeded in the business markets. And Apple was bleeding like anything. And the world of technology, the world of tech giants, the world of companies thought that Apple is finished. You know what? How worst was Apple's situation at that time? Apple was spending more to be seen in the markets instead of competing with companies like Microsoft, Dell, and etc. The annual loss by 1997 of Apple was staggering $1.04 billion. And over the span of 20 years, Apple lost 80% of its market share.
Apple's market value has dropped by 80% between 1992 to the end of 1997.
Financial difficulties, layoffs, buyout rumors. Once a mighty giant in the industry, now Apple computers are given little shelf space in most stores.
Investors have completely lost hope. Their computers are collecting dust at the retailers and employees are abandoning Apple.
In a span of 20 years, Apple burnt $1 billion of cash only to be seen in the market of the world. To put that in a clear perspective, in Apple's bank account, the bank balance what Apple had was just suitable for 90 days. So after 90 days, the survival for Apple was a complete disaster. At that time, Apple did one of the biggest decisions that changed its history. In 1984, Apple bought a company named Next for $429 million. Now, how did it change? With that acquisition, Apple bought a man by accident, which changed the revolution of Apple's ecosystem and Apple's market share. And we all guessed it right. The man who came back was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs walked into Apple again in July 1997. He looked at the boardroom. He saw the chaos. He just asked one thing. what was Apple making, because he himself knew that there was no clear perspective, that Apple's board of directors or Apple's engineers knew what was happening in Apple. He did 3 best steps to clear down and cut down the Apple's burning of cash to turn that into the biggest business opportunity that Apple has ever seen. Move number 1. He killed everything. Yes, he just drew 2x2 grid on a whiteboard. He just said consumer laptop, consumer desktop, professional laptop, professional desktop. 4 boxes, 4 products. And remaining everything went into the trash bin. Literally, he killed 346 products in just one meeting. And 4 products ruled Apple's next future. He said, instead of burning cash for all the 350 products, let's just throw 346 products out and spend the whole capital of Apple on just 4 products. Move number 2. Shake hands with enemy. Apple's biggest rival was Microsoft. Bill Gates had crushed Apple in the PC wars. Apple's fans were the most loyal fan base in the world, but they couldn't believe what Apple was doing. So Jobs walked onto the stage at Macworld in 1997 and announced Microsoft is investing $150 million in Apple.
Now, I'd like to talk about meaningful partners. Apple lives in an ecosystem, and it needs help from other partners. It needs to help other partners. And relationships that are destructive don't help anybody in this industry as it is today. So, during the last several weeks, we have looked at some of the relationships, and one has stood out as a relationship that hasn't been going so well, but had the potential, I think, to be great for both companies. And I'd like to announce one of our first partnerships today, a very, very meaningful one, and that is one with Microsoft.
A company which is an enemy or which is a competitor for our own brand, do you think they will invest? But Microsoft did in Apple. Move number 3. Make beauty a business strategy. In 1998, they bought the beautiful product. They bought the iMac. It was translucent blue. It had gorgeous colors. It made a new revolution in the PC markets. You know what, my dear friends? iMac in first 5 months staggeringly hit the sales record of 800,000 units. Yes, 8 lakh units in just 5 months. So, Apple was having a positive sign after a long eternity. 32% who bought the new iMac were all new customers of Apple.
32% of people who bought an iMac were new to Apple. This highlights the iMac's appeal to new users. The majority, 68%, were existing Apple customers.
For the first time in a decade, the people, the citizens, the netizens and everyone were happy to be investing back in Apple. Apple had finally stopped bleeding. They had finally stopped burning cash. And that changed the revolution of Apple to the modern technology. That laid the first step to the modern innovation of Apple Incorporation. Now you may think, did that change? No. Jobs had one more card to play to the world. In 2001, everyone wanted a CD player, and they had only 18 songs that they could store in that CD player, and they couldn't walk with it. And when they walked, the CD player stopped. Steve Jobs got an idea, remembering, can we have a solution to solve this problem? In 2001, Jobs came onto the stage and said only 5 words. 1,000 songs in your pocket, done and sold. For the first time, the people who didn't purchase an Apple product, the people who didn't even purchase an iMac, were starting to walk with a device that Apple created, and it was the great iPod. You know how? It made 50 million people fans of Apple. Just one product and such huge fan base for Apple. Then came January 9, 2007. Jobs walked onto the stage and said some few words. A widescreen iPod with touch controls. A revolutionary mobile phone. A breakthrough internet communications device. Then he smiled and said, "These are not three different products, my dear friends, which I want to say to you and introduce it to you. This is all just one product." And he said, "We are calling it the iPhone." You know, Apple's share of the global smartphone profits today is staggering 85%. And revenue from the iPhone in the financial year 2024 is whooping $201 billion. Just one product creating such a massive capital and a massive profit share to Apple. But you know something nice? Steve Jobs didn't want iPhone to be the product. Well, others thought iPhone the mainstream line. But Steve Jobs had a different perspective. He said, well, if we sell an iPhone, it was just one-time purchase. The customer buys in the iPhone, he pays out and takes the iPhone. How could we recur the customer? How could we get recurring payments from the customer? Then Apple came into a new revolution or the new era called App Store.
So, you're a developer and you've just spent 2 weeks or maybe a little bit longer writing this amazing app, and what is your dream? Your dream is to get it in front of every iPhone user, and hopefully they love it and buy it, right? Well, we're going to solve that problem for every developer, big to small. And the way we're going to do it is what we call the App Store.
App Store launched in 2008 brought the biggest revolution. Apple had a tool booth on the entire digital economy. Every app sold, every subscription sold, or every purchase made through App Store brought 30% of the revenue to Apple. For example, let me put it into a clear perspective. If a customer A bought an application called XYZ for rupees 100, then 30% of it would go to Apple and the 70% would go to that application XYZ. So everywhere, every subscription, every product, Apple gained 30% out of it. You know what, guys? $1.1 trillion was the amount that Apple got from App Store in 2022. But at this time, there happened a one disaster, which the world thought it is the end of the Apple era. Steve Jobs died on October 5th, 2011. And that time, everybody was shocked. Everybody thought Apple is done. Nobody is going to rule Apple now, and Apple's products are going to be shut down. At that time, Apple knew something was cooking, but the world didn't know that there was happening something. And Steve Jobs was such a wise guy that he developed the second line leader. He didn't want the company to stop when he died. He bought a person who could rule the Apple's economy and Apple's tech giant in the future after his death. And my dear friends, Steve Jobs, before his death, he announced the next chief executive officer of Apple, and he was called Tim Cook.
Good morning. Good morning. This is my first product launch since being named CEO.
At that time, Wall Street panicked. The market of shares of Apple were down, and the world thought Tim Cook was unable to rule Apple as Steve Jobs did. But way far, to put that in a clear perspective, when Steve Jobs handed Apple to Tim Cook, the market share of Apple was nearly 1.5 trillion. But do you know what, guys? The day I'm shooting this video is April 1st, 2026. It is the 50th anniversary of Apple. And you know what is the share of Apple? My dear friends, it is staggering plus $3.5 trillion. So Tim Cook ruled the Apple 2.5 times better than Steve Jobs. He made Apple the biggest tech giant of the world. My dear friends, Apple's service revenue in the financial year 2024 was staggering $96 billion only in that year. So $100 billion only from Apple services, no physical product involved. You know, what are the active paid subscriptions that Apple is handling right now? It is 1 billion. Imagine $1 billion. Each subscription costing $10 may reach $10 billion. So Apple gets its revenue apart from hardware. It gets revenue from various sources like software, subscriptions, hardware, software built in iOS, and many others, including the App Store. 3 lessons that every entrepreneur and every company should learn from Apple's case study. Let me give that and brief it out for you. Lesson number 1: stop spreading the capital in various sources. Start investing in something which is valuable. My dear friends, in 1991, when Steve Jobs reclaimed his position as the chief executive officer of Apple, he distributed the entire 350 products capital only to 4 huge products. He didn't want to waste Apple's capital in different sources called 350 products. He just wanted to spend on wise, vital products. And that changed how Apple thought, and that made Apple set up. So I want you people to figure it out what products are the best for you, because instead of spending on numerous things, numerous products, spend on something which is more vital for your business, and that will lead to maybe a crore business or some millions of dollars worth businesses. Design is not how it looks, innovation does. My dear friends, Nokia had a better hardware, BlackBerry had a physical type keyboard, and Motorola had the best build quality and the best software. But you know why Apple became the biggest one? Apple literally crushed these markets only with something called their software, their hardware. Software was made with Apple, so it was named iOS, and the hardware was iPhone. And these both integration was so seamless that the other companies were so jealous that they couldn't even come close to Apple. And innovation was such insane with Apple that it was not at all close to many companies to even think to reach Apple's intricacy of what it had. I want you people to have a luxury intricacy in your product. You should have a premium feel. If your company is called XYZ, if the customer feels your product, he should say that this product is definitely going to belong for the company called XYZ. So that makes sense, and that will push your sales. No, that will boost your sales, and that will skyrocket your sales. Build a toll booth, not just a shop. My dear friends, today Steve Jobs' idea is way succeeded. Steve Jobs didn't want to sell a one-time purchase. Steve Jobs didn't want to sell an iPhone. He wanted a tool booth where people, after purchasing an iPhone, should repeatedly recur a payment or a subscription where they need to pay again and again, so that they get the offer and they get the subscriptional advantages. So build the ecosystem, build the recurring payment system. In our Aether case study, we already studied that we should build an ecosystem. So that is where even comes it with Apple's ecosystem too. Apple doesn't sell one product. Apple, if you purchase an Apple iPhone, Apple sells you the iPad. Apple sells you the Apple Pencil. Apple sells you the MacBook. Apple sells you the watch. Apple sells you the AirPods. And everything is on our ecosystem. My dear friends, from a garage, Apple was started with 2 renowned co-founders which we discussed. They started in the garage. Now today Apple is worth more than $3.77 trillion. It is the entire, almost 90% to 95% of the entire Indian GDP. One company is equivalent to a country. Such huge amount. So that's it from my side for today, guys. Comment down which hit you the hardest. Like, share it with one person so that it could implement in their business and you could change their lives. Subscribe if you like this video, because subscription for you is very less, but it means a lot to me. It helps me a lot, and it even motivates me to make more such case studies. Thank you very much. That's it from my side for today, guys. Meet you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.